Det var på sandwichen and Sunday called a beaten bun. Bow, bow, bow. Hey everyone, I've got good news. My channel's been remonetized, thankfully. Thankfully. Oh my god. So I literally was just uploading a video for the patrons, which is the wolf in sheep's clothing. And I noticed the little tab for monetization was back again. I don't think I got an email from YouTube. I haven't checked yet, but I immediately talked with Jake, the CEO of Talentsy, and confirmed that his good efforts have restored monetization to my channel. Thank you everyone for your outpouring of support on Patreon. Those of you who understandably, if you don't want to continue contributing at the level that you were to save my ass, totally understandable, reduce it or stop doing it if you want. And hey, X-Poison! Hey Trey. Hey Dragonlord. So yeah, just to let you know that things are back on track for my channel, and it appears to have been just an automated thing that YouTube did. So we're going to keep, Jake and I are going to keep in contact. I'm going to be signing back up with Talentsy, and we're going to keep in contact, and if anybody else has channels that this happens to, that have the same sort of format as I do, then we can get in contact with, possibly get in contact with Talentsy, and Talentsy might be able to work on their behalf because they've got a more of a direct line with YouTube. Yeah, it does mean that I lost out on essentially a week worth of ad revenue, which was pretty brutal. So that shaved hundreds of dollars off my income, and it's going to take a little while to recover. But thankfully, with the support from the patrons and things like that, then yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. And plus, you get that added perk of having a week of advanced access to, and you get to basically direct what videos you want me to make as a patron. So there is an advantage there. I was kind of headed in that direction anyway, and I'm quite happy to, like, those of you who are on the regular channel. Just like who aren't patrons aren't seeing the increase in output, but the patrons can tell you that I'm producing a video every single day, apart from I took one day off this week. It's okay, Scott. It's over as far as I can tell, and I'm going to be signing back up with Talentsy, and Talentsy is going to do some stuff in the background which will protect, basically protect my IP. And hopefully make sure that this thing can't happen again, because I'll be basically talking directly with Google AdSense. So hopefully that'll go through. I don't know. It's usually that's for channels which have got like 100,000 subscribers. So this is an unusual thing for something to happen to a smaller channel like mine. It's an unusual thing for it to be resolved. It's just kind of strange, and it's an unusual thing for this to happen in the first place. The main thing that we had in my argument was basically the open license terms of Wizards of the Coast themselves, where they say, and I quote, "As long as fans have got access, they're not blocked by any sort of paywall, you are able to earn ad revenue and things like that on videos and stuff, which is using the content of the books, essentially the artwork of monsters and things like that." In fan created work, which is what I'm doing. So essentially I'm creating infotainment, educational lore videos, as you know, and the pictures and things that I use are directly related to that, which is what I said all along. It's clearly fair use, and for some reason the algorithms of YouTube identified that as problematic. And so we basically had to plead our case that what I was doing was not duplication. It was in fact original content, as you all know, which is why it was so crazy, because YouTube is very stressed out with a lot of a backlog of people who are applying for monetization and things. They've only got so many people who are working there, and unfortunately, the first person that I talked to basically didn't, I don't think they really did their job. They didn't double check, they didn't fact check or check the channel. They just went with what the algorithm said and trusted that it was completely correct. And then finally, it got passed on to a person who handed it up, but they basically wanted to get as much information about the channel and stuff and the nature of the problem before they went further up, so that I had a better chance of success. So whoever that was, thank you very much. Of course, it was extremely frustrating and stressful for me when it happened. Yeah, it did, Justin. Yeah, it's more of a scheduling thing, unfortunately. Linguistically oversight 86. No, that wouldn't get me in trouble with AdSense, essentially. People just viewing the things. I mean, if you're viewing it on on the same IP, then it wouldn't garner me extra AdSense money anyway. But as I keep saying, if you want to go to a public library or something like that and stream it on a separate channel, separate location, then that would work. Or somebody else's cell phone or something like that. I mean, it all counts. That's legit. That's not like schooling it or anything. Thanks, man. Thanks, Robert. They seem to have zone off. Thank you very much. I did end up taking down a few videos, the rock video and the brass dragon video. Those need to be remade, essentially. Like the rock video, as you know, had some footage from BBC, which I wasn't in any revenue on anyway. I had it demonetized because it was copyright claimed by somebody else. And I took down the Hobgoblin music video, although the Hobgoblin ecology is still there. So if people haven't downloaded, if people hadn't downloaded their own copy of that Hobgoblin soundtrack, then that's too bad. I don't have any anymore. It's gone bye-bye. But otherwise, yeah, it seems that finally this is the green light. My content is fine. My format is fine. My use of images and stuff is fine. So this is the confirmation that I needed to carry on making the content that I make. I still do have to be careful. Like I do get warnings, for instance, on my Mephisto video, which is coming up, Mephistopheles video, which is coming up for everybody. I got a lot of flags on using the word hell. So, and yet demon doesn't seem to flag anymore, which is good, but hell definitely does. So I got a third-party software on there which warned me that would cause a problem. So I had to modify some of the keywords and things in there. But the content of the video is just the same. The Brass Dragon vid has got a it had a bit from Monty Python at the very end of it. It was just like a little jokey bit where they're in the market and the guy's teaching him how to haggle. It was like a throwaway thing that I put in there, which I probably shouldn't have. Yeah, but as you know, the audio quality on those earlier vids is bad anyway. So it's something which eventually I should go around and check and update if I can. I'm getting better at this as I go. I've been doing it for 5 years, but I'm only just getting to a point where I can start to do good work, I think. So at least my audio is better now. Yeah, Starbucks. So things have worked out well, Stuart. Stephen, they've remonetized my channel just suddenly, just flicked back on, which was actually faster than I thought it would be. Essentially, as soon as we gave them confirmation that what I'm doing is perfectly fine by the fair use laws and it's perfectly fine by the open gaming license that Wizards of the Coast uses, that was it really. They didn't have anything that they could show demonstrably was duplication on my channel. Yeah, well, I was talking about oh, thanks, Jube. I haven't seen you before. How's it going, man? You inspired me to DM for the first time in years. Going to be running a campaign with a Hobgoblin monk, a Kinder cleric, and a gnomish bard, and a tiefling. Nice. Awesome. I love hearing stuff like that. That's so cool. Well, Trey, now you've got other stuff. I mean, you know where to find that song, so you can probably just like make a version of it yourself. Thanks, Kazu. Drive safe. Do the brood gibberling from AD&D Monster Manual Volume 4. They're terrifying. Oh, okay. Righto. Hang on, I'll note that down. Oh, by the way, I had a test run of Twitch where I was drawing a picture whilst I was Twitch streaming. I had nobody there watching me, obviously, because nobody knew that I was doing it. And it's very much like live streaming, except it's harder to see like the feedback and stuff like that. But at least I know that I can do it. So I use exactly the same OBS software. I just got a different live streaming key that I log in there, and I need to jiggy my camera and stuff around. But essentially, it's exactly the same. Yeah, my content's always been awesome. Actually, no, my content hasn't always been of the same quality. I have to disagree with you there. Like, say the stuff on the aboleth and things like that, I didn't research to the same extent that I did then. I didn't have the same resources that I do now, but now I have access to absolutely everything. And I know where, after doing this for a few years, I know where to find information and correlate information, and I know what information which is basically discardable. Twitch. Oh, okay. Cool job. Deweb? I can't pronounce that. I do say that I'm a sage now. Yeah. Because that's essentially exactly what I am. I am a sage. When people come to me with questions, I find answers. Stay a while and listen. There's a wise sage of New Zealand, not far from Hobbiton. Actually, I'm just moving on. When I move house, I'll be moving to the other side of Hobbiton, really, but it's still nearby. Yeah, Skynet. Oh, we have defeated Skynet. Skynet tried its best to cut me off at the knees, and they did it very well. Thanks, Justin. I'm going to head out and have a beer, man, because I feel like celebrating. I only drink when I'm happy anyway, and this is definitely a chance to celebrate. I'm going to call some friends. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I walked out of my room after seeing this. I just uploaded a video on the wolf in sheep's clothing, which is like this hilarious little video. And then I saw the tab there, and I was like, it was like a massive weight got lifted off my shoulders. Yeah, it was, yeah. Like the thing with Patreon, which I wanted to explain with people, is when you go onto the Patreon and you look at that total there, that would be the amount of money that I get on like the first video that I upload in a month, which is where everybody's contributing $1 or whatever, or $5. Some people like $15 or so. So like those people like calm down. Only contribute what you want to. Is what I'm saying. Like, please don't extend yourself in any way to help me out. I can handle it now. It's good. But all you need to do is contribute $1 a month, and you get access to the week in advance videos, and you get access to asking me directly for information on scripts or anything like that. And you also get access to asking me to make videos for you directly, which I will. So yeah, that's all you need is $1 a month will get you all of those benefits. There's no additional benefits for additional money. It's just, yeah, that's it. It's the fairest thing I could do. Deckard Kane is awesome. And yeah, Josh, the Arcane Forge guy. Yeah, he's awesome. Hey, Gio. As far as I know, Josh would be completely safe from this sort of problem with YouTube as well, because he produces entirely original content. So all of his artwork and stuff like that is clearly stuff that he's done himself. Whereas me, there was that question of, do I have a right to use it? And it turns out that yeah, I do. Thanks, Robert. Wow, thanks, man. Wow, you guys are bringing me back with a hiss and a bang. This is awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, so with the Patreon thingy, you would see like there would be a certain amount of that I would get with the first video, and then each additional video that I create would the total would go down as people hit their limit that they've set for themselves of how much money they're going to spend on the channel each month, until in the end, by the time I've made like 6 videos or so, I'd be getting like I don't know, $60 or less per video, which is another reason why I was producing so many videos because I needed to basically do it. But I've shown myself now that if I'm basically disciplined, I can produce a video like that one on Mephisto, which you guys haven't seen yet. I did that in one day, which was a hell of a thing to do, but I proved to myself that I could do it, like as a challenge. So yeah, I beat Skynet. Thanks, Jacob. Wow, you guys are awesome. Thanks a lot. You guys are going to get me drunk, man. I'm going to be drinking all of this. Yeah, this is really good news. This is also good news for my family too, because there's a lot of stuff that was happening behind the scenes as well, where just the uncertainty of everything was causing a lot of disruption from my plans. Thanks, Dragonlord. Thank you. Yeah. So it's a massive relief. But I basically wanted to jump on the live stream here and tell you guys immediately what was going on. That we've made it through. I would. Axe Poison, yeah. I think a video on Axe Poison is in the making actually. Really, that should be a thing. I think if we all worked together, we could actually turn Axe Poison into a thing. For sure. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to bringing more content on stuff such as, for instance, I'm gonna get wasted. I'm gonna get crunk. I don't get drunk very much. I'm huge. I drink like a dwarf. So AJ, what do you think of an overall race that beings like the Phoenix belong to, which have an elemental link to it, and a link to an aspect of creation like rebirth or decay? That's a very good question, Eric. I think that like the Phoenix could have been handled as an elemental creature quite well. You reach a point where you're like I said that from the perspective of an elemental, a fire elemental, a Phoenix is a creature of wonder because it basically terraforms wherever it goes into fire. So it turns the world around you into more environment that you can live in as a fire elemental. It turns everything into home, essentially. And in that respect, that's a generative point of view from a fire elemental's perspective. But it's very bad for everyone else's point of view, obviously, because it burns everything. But yeah. Yeah, back to making cash money. Yeah. So I have proved that I can now produce a video a day, essentially, with just like taking a couple of days off. But I can do it as a proper job. So that's good. And I have been bringing like a lot of the stuff that I wanted to, like the Raven Queen and Mephisto, the Lord of Ruins series, starting up the Demon series and things like that. I'll be able to finish off a lot of videos and things, and I'm chocking them off the list of viewer requests quite quickly now, which is good. But you guys, please keep reminding me of stuff that I've said that I was going to do, but I haven't got around to. The Worm That Walks, yes, I have. I did. Yep. Caius. Yep, The Worm That Walks. I did a big video on him, and it was a really good one. This is fascinating, actually. He's a Greyhawk character. Yeah, I'd like to do more videos on the demi-elemental planes and the actual proper elemental planes. And that video series that I was talking about, where I want to actually do a walkthrough of the Forgotten Realms, like all of Faerun, so that people know whereabouts everything is. So I take for granted that I've got a rough idea of where Vassar is, for instance, or you know, those sort of places, where the Silver Marches are, for instance, and where the Dalelands are located in relation to the Anarok Desert, or where the Empire, you know, where Chult is in relation to everywhere. A lot of people are familiar with the Sword Coast, but if you ask them where Luskan was in relation to Neverwinter, they might scratch their heads for a minute or have to consult something. So making a series of videos where people become familiar with Toril will give them a better, they'll be more inclined to actually explore more of the continent, and that will get Wizards of the Coast producing more content on obscure areas. Thank you, Jacob. Hey pal, my phone dead, so I've got to So got to have another round on me, but first I have to ask, why do most players consider all dragons a problem to deal with, save for silver and steel dragons? Because dragons are big and scary, and even the good ones can kill you. That's an interesting thing. That's an interesting question. Yeah, but I mean, also some chromatic dragons can be good. Not necessarily good, but they can be like not forces of destructive evil all the time. So they have the capacity to be any alignment. Yeah, it's just that they're far more common to be of evil alignment, and the metallic dragons are far more common to be of good alignment. And the metallic dragons will at least try not to kill you because they don't feel a need to. Oh yeah, Modern Canaan's Tome of Foes, Demon Lords can grant boons to stats. For example, Grast can grant a bonus to Con and Charisma. What do you think Malconthet's boons would be? Malconthet's boons would be Charisma, for sure, and probably Wisdom, because she's extremely cunning and she is aware of what's going on around her. Like a part of seduction, for instance, is observing the effect that your presence has on someone else. So that's where I'd go with it. And also just basically giving somebody the ability to charm, because she's the demon queen of Succubi. Yeah, a series on the different campaign settings for sure. Yeah, like a general overview of what exactly Eberron is. And for instance, one thing that's very interesting is Eberron has got a different cosmology than the rest of the D&D worlds. Like they've got a different way that they handle the Shadowfell and the Feywild, for instance, which is completely different. Which is one of the questions that I get quite a lot. It's like, do the different worlds have different Shadowfells and different Feywilds? And I say, well, they've all got the same Feywild connected together in a sort of grand thing. So you can go from one Feywild to another and traverse the planes that way in a parallel plane. But when you get to Eberron, it's actually a world. It's not a plane on the world itself at a different vibrational frequency. It's actually a different world. You think Dex? Yeah. Well, nothing's written in stone. Yeah, I put up at the beginning a write up on the ideas, the monster design tab in the Discord. I think I'm going to write up a bit of Earth, being of Earth and Decay, like the Phoenix and Fire. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely use the Discord channel to think tank things, guys. Like, don't wait for me. Go in there and work on stuff, for sure. Like, I'm very busy, as you know, so I can't contribute as much as other people. But I can certainly give you my my insight and oversight on things, and the way that things, like, I can point you to the things that you can research and where they are located in Dragon magazines and Dungeon magazines and that sort of stuff. Malconthet has ads on taxis. She's got those late night ads, you know. Tired, lonely. Call 0900, blah blah. Yeah, it does focus a lot on the Sword Coast. Yeah, and they mostly live around the Inner Sea, Westgate, Cormier, Sea of Stars, for sure. Yeah, the Sea of Stars should definitely have a big write-up, a big source book, because there's a lot of things which have happened there. Like they've drastically altered the map. The entire, like, waterways and things like that have changed. So the shorelines and things are different. They had a great big war between returned city of Netheril and all along the Anarok Desert and the bordering kingdoms, the Dale Lands and Cormier, and nobody's really talking about that. It's been like 100 years since the Goblin War in Cormier. Zemix a lot. That's geocentric. I think that is Eberron, isn't it? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it as well, Eric. Elric, sorry, you can travel to the Shadowfell much like the Feywild, and there's different areas of the Feywild which border different places. Kind of like how the concordant plane of the Outlands has towns that border the outer planes, the lower planes and the upper planes. That they actually transition in and out of the those planes, just like some locations transition in and out of the Feywild, and some of them transition in and out of the Shadowfell. You know, when the midnight hour strikes, that place actually becomes part of the Shadowfell, which is a scary prospect. How do I think a Kraken would treat its cult? It would have to understand what the cult benefits it, I think. I need to do more research on the Kraken before I can answer that question, really. I'm not that familiar with Kraken, so I'm not yet ready to give you concrete answers. It would just be unbiased. It would just be opinions at this point. Thanks, Tenebris. Appreciate it. Demon Lords. How does one go about becoming a Demon Lord? Dominance, essentially. The real key is becoming dominant of a plane, of the being a layer of the abyss or a level of hell, essentially. Once you have control over that, then you are a demon. Because those who would be capable of doing that power-wise but haven't yet done it, they're the Dukes of Hell, for instance. So Mephistopheles is a Duke of Hell, but he's a Lord of the Nine Hells because he controls Cania, the 8th level. He didn't always do that, though. There were others that ruled it before he did. Kill many demons, absorb the essence, become more powerful, and then as you grow in power, you become a unique form of demon. So you're no longer a pit fiend or a Galleon, for instance. You become a unique thing. Oh, okay. Krakens. Yeah, that's what I think of as Krakens, as just like this primordial, massive creature. Aboleth Thrall or Naga Thrall, which is worse? Probably the Aboleth Thrall, because they're so creepy and weird. At least the Nagas, I don't know. Neither one is a particularly good fate, but I'll take the less slimy option, which would be Naga. The thumbnail brought you here. That's the wolf in sheep's clothing. Actually, you got lured in by a monster. Congratulations. Yeah, the Kraken would see it. So it sold its cultists as fast food. What's my favorite class? Usually I like playing wizards. I just like wizards. I really like wizards. Wizards are good. And I like fighters as well. I like the classics, you know. But I've played more bards, I think, than most other people in my playing groups. Yeah, I really like the utility of bards. Like, for instance, for me, a bard is the ability to pick the DM's brain, and call that metagaming if you want, but it's the ability to find out information and bring it to the group to move the story forward if we're lagging. That's where I see the bard's primary use in the game. Their utility is actually getting you out of the rut that you're in, or getting you out of the linear path that you're on, which may not necessarily be what the DM wanted you to do. So the bard can dig around and find clues that the DM gives you to get you on the path to concluding the story. So they have a lot of utility outside of just what can a bard do for me. It's actually what can the bard do for the game. So that's how I see it. Wizards the same way. They uncover stuff as well. So, philosophical question about the power of souls, since covering the Nine Hells. What's your philosophical question? Do you want me to just rattle on about what souls do? Well, it boils down to this. You know how you go to some outer planes and they're called divinely morphic, or they're just morphic? So on Earth, here we are here, I can think about moving this mug as much as I want and try and turn it into Swiss cheese, and I can't do it. It's not morphic. The only way I can morph this is get a hammer and smash it and turn it into broken cup, or melt it and turn it into cup slag. In the D&D world, on the other hand, my will as a living soul has the ability to morph reality in that I manipulate the weave, and that in turn channels divine power and primal power to change this object into something else. That's transmutation. Or I can, summon energy and destroy it with, so there's a bit more morphology there. So souls in the D&D universe have got a currency in that those who control the soul or own the soul, or who can tell the soul what to do, can direct that divine morphology, that morphism, that wills to change the environment to accomplish things that only the gods can do, to essentially channel more power. So demons and devils use souls to change reality. The devils use it to shore up reality and channel destructive power and control and contain the demons, and the demons use it to destroy, to infect, and to penetrate and corrupt. And the gods use it to stabilize and communicate and make sure that everything's running perfectly, and the primordials use it to create and destroy. So there you go. And so that's the currency of souls. The souls exist, and they're generated and spawned by the multiverse itself, in specific locations. The gods have got a pact not to interfere with the generation of souls, because that would create a power struggle that would destroy everything. So there you go. My favorite god, Thoth and Thor. But in D&D, probably Moradin, actually. I like Moradin. He's pretty straightforward. And Pelor. Or I just like saying Pelor. I can't pronounce Nomathor, whatever it is. The blue-skinned, there's these arcane beings. I'll be talking about some of the races in Spelljammer, for instance, like the Gif and those hippo people, and also there's the arcanes, and there's the Scrow and the various others. Yes, I've heard about living spells as well. Yeah, evil followers go to the evil gods' realms, just like the good followers go to the good realms. Essentially, it's about what their core principles and beliefs are. So they go there to join the god, and they willingly give their belief to that god. So believing in the god is believing in that god's portfolios. So it gives that god the ability to manipulate. Like if people believe that Deep Sarshitless, or if they believe that Tamora can influence the odds, then Tamora gets more ability to influence the odds, because the people have given her the ability to manipulate reality. Yeah, thanks, Dina. Thank you for all your likes and thumbs ups and stuff on Facebook. I notice. Yeah. Yep, for sure. Yeah, there's different levels of gods. There's greater gods, and there's lesser gods. Basically, the greater gods are the ones who have ultimate control over a portfolio. If gods share, only one god can have control over a portfolio, ultimate control. And oh, did it? Oh, interesting. And other gods that share that portfolio basically do it under the auspices, under the supervision of the greater god. So yeah, that's the way it works. Skynet has released me back into the into the fold. Yeah, for some reason I was targeted for termination, and now I've been saved. John Connor. Yeah, there is some strange stuff happening with the alerts, because there was YouTube itself, the staff themselves noticed that their own videos were going buggy. So that actually bumped it up to an executive level decision to get it fixed. So they're actually working on it at an executive level, which means that they pull people off other teams who are working on other problems and get them to work on that until it's fixed. That's what the YouTube Insider people just said in their last video. No, they don't go towards building a wall in purgatory when they die. Those are only the there's very rare individuals who refuse to acknowledge that gods exist, kinda. So that's the apostates, the ones who refuse to cohabitate with it in a universe with gods. But it's a bit more complicated. Also, I'm going to be talking about the Planescape factions as well. That's the other video that I was about to work on before all this shit happened with YouTube. Most non-pacted or god-aligned souls go to the wall. Yeah, so that's a rare few, but most of them actually. Yeah, there's a wall in the fugue plane, which is kind of like D&D purgatory. It's just beyond. It's between the ethereal plane and the astral plane, the astral sea, and the fugue is where Kalimvor sorts those entities through to go into the planes that they are supposed to go to. The Raven Queen looks over the whole process, but she doesn't actually stop everybody from going places. She just occasionally takes an interesting soul that she can learn from, and she plucks them out of the stream. So they're not the Raven Queen and Kalimvor are not really in conflict with each other, but they're not exactly allies either. They took mercy on me. More like that. They got hounded until they actually paid attention. I was like, can you prove that you're not duplicating? It's like, yeah. I can prove it by showing you that it doesn't exist. And they went, good point. Or I turn around and say, prove that I am. And they say, we can't. Skynet. Basically, it's the AI. The AI at YouTube made a whoopsie. And the humans, there's not enough humans to notice every whoopsie that the AI makes. Okay, well, I just wanted to really pop on briefly to say hello and tell everyone what's going on. So if there's anybody who's got any more questions for me before I go, otherwise I'll be back again tomorrow I'll be uploading more videos every day now, and I'll be back for the live stream on Saturday over in the States as well. Ecology of Athos, yeah, Athos is interesting. What happens when a world has no gods? Also, I want to learn more about Kryn too, because Kryn's gods stepped away, but it didn't turn into Athos. It's more like just the magic went away. Yeah, clerics are good. Go drink beer. I'm going to have some Boilermakers, man. For sure. Oh, I can't give you a brief summary of Titania, but yeah, I've gotten a lot of requests for her actually, so I'm going to bump her up the list because I really need to start working on the Seelie and the Unseelie courts and tell people that they're not really what people think they are. They're not good and bad. They're more like pretty and ugly. But again, I've got to research that as well. There's a lot of conflicting folklore. Basically, Geo, what happens is you set a per episode amount, and then you set a total amount that you will donate. So if the first episode that airs is the total amount that you're going to donate, then that's your monthly amount, essentially. Or if you'd said, okay, I'm going to donate $1 per video, which is the minimum, and I'm going to donate a total of $5 per month, then if I produce 5 videos, that would be the $5 in a month, and that would be it. If I produce 6 videos, you still only donate $5. That's how it works. So you can literally just donate $1 for the first video of the month, and that's it. You get a benefit to you get access to all the benefits and everything. Fable shit. Canadian Boilermaker, is that with Canadian Club? And what sort of beer are you drinking with that one? Yeah, for sure. Well, the interesting thing with the Feywild is that they don't really have seasons. They've got areas which are permanently seasons, but otherwise it's a twilight. It's a twilight glade permanently. Any of you have watched Critical Role? I have most certainly added interesting drinks into my games. In fact, at the moment, one of the dwarf character in my weekly game, he's kind of addicted to cave fisher blood as a liqueur, and his family are actually cave fisher hunters because they're specialists in bottling their blood, which is made of alcohol essentially. Canadian Club and Sleeman Cream Ale. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd probably enjoy that. Yeah. I'm actually probably more than likely to go and grab myself some, since I don't really like going to bars and stuff, um, uh, particularly in winter because it's usually bloody cold. I like getting a bottle of rum and ginger ale, basically dry rum and dry. That's pretty good. So it's more than likely what I'm going to go and do to celebrate. Mean Vey. Exactly. Summer and winter quartz. Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of subtlety to it. Okay, so there's a lot of interest in Fae. That's what I'm picking up from you guys, from you 43 people. There's also, yeah, a lot of interest in the Nine Hells and that sort of stuff, and yeah, the various streams of stuff that I'm investigating. Plus, I want to bring a lot of the weird and creepy monsters from the past. Like, for instance, in Dragon Magazine, what is it, 156? There's an article which is all of the weirdest monsters that they thought nobody would want to see, but they post them anyway. And one of them is the Blink Mammoth. There's also a killer sheep, and there's a mean spruce tree which will kill people and stuff like that. There's like a jello monster. Some crazy shit. But it's all canon because it's in Dragon Magazine. So it's legit. You can put it in your game. Kraken rum is pretty good, actually. Yeah, Kraken and Jamison Estate is one that I really like. But one that I want to get hold of again is the Angostura producers. Angostura Bitters. Angostura produces a rum which is absolutely fantastic. If you haven't tried it, you're gonna find it. Don't have it with Coke. Have it because the sugar basically kills the subtler flavors of the rum. If you're a real aficionado, have it straight or have it with some ginger ale. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna head off. Yeah, Raven Queen. Oh, the video on the Raven Queen is coming up too. That's a real good one. You're gonna like that. Blink Mammoth. You don't need to write it down. I'll be bringing it to you very soon. I'll be bringing you the Blink Mammoth and the Killer Sheep. The unicow. There's a unicorn cow. You thought the wolf in sheep's clothing was funny. You ain't seen nothing. And the pink dragon. That's one of them as well. I thought people were joking when they said, oh, you're going to do the pink dragon? There is actually a pink dragon. It breathes bubbles. Ale made with water of a succubus's bath. It's a heady brew. All right. Night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you again soon. I'll see you on the weekend anyway, if you can tune in. Be around about this time anyway. Good news, good news. Great news for everyone. See you later.